Hello, everybody. Thank you very much for seeing this, subscribing to this channel and, watching this first webcast on this why costing is in increasing demand. I'm Harshad Deshpande. So I'm basically Masters in Commerce, fellow member of Institute of Cost Accountants of India, Company Secretaries, then CISA, Certified Information Systems Auditor from Isaka, USA, Chartered Institute of Management Accountants, EMA UK. I've also been insolvency professional, registered valuer, and independent director. So, friends, we are going to discuss very important thing that is a buzzword nowadays: the cost management or costing. So, the question is that why this is in increasing demand, and what are the drivers which is as accountant fraternity, why it is important for all of us to have a good knowledge of costing. So why this buzzword, why the costing has become a buzzword? So there are certain factors which I would like to mention. So I have prepared a small presentation which I would like to take it forward. So buzzword. So drivers of changes are typically into three categories. I will put it. One is the economic environment. Second one is a technological environment, and third one is a socio-political environment. So economic environment. So typically this the introduction of the globalization policy. So broadly we call it as LPG, liberalization, privatization, and globalization. So back in 1992, when Manmohan Singh was the then finance minister, he has done the great decisions for the opening up the economy to the world, economy to the world. So it has done a lot of impact. So what has brought us is the increased competition. So this increased competition comes not only within the India but also the outside India, and it has given us a lot of changes to the economic environment, not only for India but outside India also. Advent of WTO, World Trade Organization, reductions in the tariffs. So the custom duty or the import duty in India was as 100% at one point of time. Gradually, the base rate has been cut down to maybe 7.5%. The QRs, so there were quantitative restrictions like you have to import only this much quantity. So these parameters were decided by government. Now this all has gone. So it is a free trade. So you can import as much as you want, provided that is within the framework. Increasing sickness in the Indian industry. So you must have seen that the cases of non-performing assets or the lot of businesses going out of the shape because of the introduction of this in insolvency and bankruptcy code. Highlighted M&A activity, so mergers and acquisitions. We every day in newspapers we find that some M&A activity happening around. So these are the broadly classified as the economic environmental changes which has given the importance to costing. How it is so we are going to see in a minute or two. Secondly, technological environment, rapid change in the rise of the information technology systems, internet e-commerce. So, friends, as accountant fraternity, so one point of time, a good accountant was said to be that whose trial balance and balance sheet was is able to match, was considered to be good accountant. Now today's with the very sophisticated IT system, you have to just enter the transaction and you don't have to bother about the accounting part. It has been automatically taken care by softwares like a simple software like QuickBooks or Tally. You have to just post a transaction and all accounting stuff is done. So what it has done is that it has changed the role of accountant from a value recorder or a transaction recorder to the uh, business analysis. So the role of accountant has changed. It has not remained with the accounting, but it has to more about how he looks beyond the numbers and how he helps the management to take the right decision. So it is a big environmental, technological environmental change which has given a lot of importance to the costing. So the work of accountant has gradually been changing from accounting to cost accounting, then management accounting. So uh, it is good in the sense that the business typical role of accountant was earlier complete the financials, do the compliances, do the audits, do the reporting. So it has increased, it has changed a lot, and the core function of the accountant has become, giving the insights about the business information systems, the management information systems, analytics, data crunching, and presenting the right information to the management. So that is what the role as accountant has been. So it has brought a lot, a lot of importance to especially management accounting community, and that is why you will see that even gradually you will see that all the profiles this the change happening. Nobody is asks you about the what is the journal entries and what is the subsidiary books, or how to post a particular entry in a particular transactions. So this has been a lot of this has brought a lot of change in the technological environment. Cost reduction due to the technological innovations. So a click is enough for do whole accounting stuff. I can just run a trial balance in seconds. I can get the financials and other the information which I require statutory. Increase automation, the flexible manufacturing systems just in time. So these are the new tools which are being changing, and this has brought importance on the cost reduction and cost control point of view. Organization-wide networking, online information systems, the rise of the Indian IT superpower. So you can get a very good, analytical data. You can get a good information processing softwares at very cheap cost. So that has got a incredible amount of change. And also the socio-political environmental, that is the ease of doing business is something which government always uh, is looking forward. So reduce the interference of the politics in the business, cultural shift towards the westernization, the role of trade associations and even consumer associations, the awareness about the consumer rights, the increased focus on the customer quality, surveys, and the post sales surveys. So all these factors have given a lot of change in the business dimensions. So friends, what is the next slide perhaps the gives that why this change has brought the costing in limelight. So when the traditional approach was always that okay, you calculate the cost, you add the profit, and that should be the selling price. So that approach, can be worked out in only in a monopolistic and in a very close kind of environment or a business ecosystem. But because of the this opening up of the economies, the new approach has been the sales minus profit equal to cost. Mathematically, you will see there is no much of difference between these two equations, but psychologically and from the business perspective, it gives a lot of meaning. The reason is very simple. Take example of good example would be say nano car. So nano car, it was originally the dream of the Ratan Tata, uh, chief of Tata Sons, that a car should be sold at 1 lakh rupees as a selling price. So what happens is that if the sales price is set 1 lakh rupees, so or even if it is set or not set, but in the competitive economy, yes, the rates are more market driven. So you are no more in the dictating terms that what is the kind of sales numbers or the selling price I should decide, but it is up to the competition, up to the markets, which ultimately decide the selling price. For example, say if I want to travel, so there will be, if I search online, I will get quotes of different airlines. So I choose what is the lowest amount set, isn't it? So what it implies is that the consumer or the customer is always looking for a price which is competitive price. So even if I give you some, I have some premium services, but unless and otherwise that fits into my customer budget, I'm not able to make any sales. So that sales is more or less not in my control. It has been driven by the macroeconomic factors as well as the market forces. So sales is something which is not in my control now. The same is the case with the profit. So as a commercial organization, if I want to sustain, I have to make the profits. So if I don't make any profits, my investors, my shareholders, my equity shareholders, or the partners or the contributors of my equity, they are expecting some return. So even if you take an example of opportunity cost. So every investor investing the money in a business, if you don't invest in that money into the business, naturally what he can expect is that he can get at least the term deposit interest that otherwise would be available to him. So that becomes a kind of opportunity for him. So he's taking a risk, he's investing his time and energy, and taking up the risk of investing in a business. So naturally he expects a return out of it, and if that return is not there, he's not going to stay invested with you. So again, this profit is the number which perhaps is not in my control, because I have to ensure that I generate a profit for my business, for my equity shareholders, and all the stakeholders who are involved in the company. So what remains with me is the only part, that is the cost. So if I don't manage my cost, then I may not be able to run my business. So that is why you will see that in the new approach there is a vast and continuous focus on the cost management, and that is why perhaps you will see that this cost and management accounting as a subject has evolved a lot, and every company has a controller, every company has a person who is monitoring the cost very closely. Continuous innovation for the cost reduction to survive in the competitive market. So if you want to sustain in the competitive environment, you have to look forward for a continuous cost monitoring as well as the cost reduction, so that you achieve the desired. So if I better control my cost, naturally my profit number is going to go up. So this is what is the expectation from management, or that is the expectations that we are having with the finance or accounting domain, and that is how the shift has happening, and it will continue to happen. So the role of accountant is not remain to be the reporter of the profit, but he is the one who has to create the profits. How? By monitoring this cost very, very closely. So that's why we say that this costing will always be in demand. So no matter there were certain business models, basically valuation models, which perhaps were saying that okay, even if there is a cash negative company, it can fetch valuations, but you must have noticed in the longer run that all the concepts are settling down, and everybody now recognizes that okay, no, you have to make a profit, you have to make a cash profit to sustain the business. So let me just quickly go through the purposes of cost accounting. These are the fundamentals, and just knowing that we can just text if any questions are there, and we will conclude for this first fundamental session. The purpose of cost accounting. First and foremost purpose of cost accounting is to ascertain the cost using the cost methods. Now, first, if I have to control, there is a very, very great golden rule that if I have to control anything, first I have to measure it. If I want to control my cost, first I should know that what are my costs, what I'm incurring, whether it's on the higher side, lower side. So that can give me a hint that where it should be. So for that, I have to know that where I stand. So this is the first and foremost purpose, ascertainment of the cost. Although it looks very simple, but friends, if you have to really do a good costing, if you have to do track the cost in the right manner, so it's always a Herculean task, because there are, as you can see, that the portion of the directly attributed cost is coming significantly down. For example, if any company is there, you will see that lots of indirect or common costs are being incurred. To allocate this cost to various segments, various products, that is one of the very, very important tasks which a cost and management accountant has to do. So to control the cost, first I have to ascertain the cost. So this is the first and foremost purpose. Controlling and determining and controlling the efficiencies. The 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 second part of cost accounting is a kind of a techno-commercial job. So not only you need to know about the commercial side, but also the technical side, that how and effectively you can use the infrastructure and the machinery and the various services of the organization, so that you can give a better and efficient performance of your resources, and this will ensure that you are profit making. So you have to do a study of your operations, and this will enable you to render the services of measuring the efficiency of the organization. And in doing so, you will be able to devise the means of exercising the efficiency. Third, selling price determination. So in case if you're having a new product, or you are in a kind of monopolistic or a very niche segment. So in such cases, you can devise your costing, especially in the project industry. This is the model still used, because say big construction projects, so the pricing is set based on the cost. First of all, you have to calculate the cost or project the cost correctly, and based on that you can fix up your selling price. The preparation of financial statements, so valuation of the inventories or different items of costs, so that you have to report, and that will help you to make this financial statements even more accurate and correct. So wherever there is a cost accounts are kept, so the closing stock valuations, it may be the valuation of the materials and work in progress or finished goods. So you have to do costing, and as per the accounting standards, you have to value this at a cost. So this ascertainment of cost becomes very important, and provide the basis for operating policy. Cost accounting plays an important part in the management, as it is used as a basis for formulating operating prices. So it will help us to strategize the business, and how we can grow the business, how you can grow the profits of the business, and how you can ultimately, the objective is to ensure that the wealth of the shareholders is getting more and more. So you will have a profit, so which will create a wealth for your shareholders. And this is how the costing can align with the corporate objective, and that is the one of the most important. So, friends, with this, we just wanted to conclude this our introductory session. Thank you very much. And this is the series, so we are expecting that okay, a lot of such concepts and this different terminologies and jargons in costing we are going to unleash in a step-by-step manner. So I look forward for your feedback, and I want to hear from you that whether you like. If you like, then kindly just put a comment, and if any questions are there, I will be really happy to take it and answer it. So thank you very much, and look forward for thank you very much.